Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Hopefully everybody doing great. I'm doing okay, having my coffee with a different cup this morning. What do you think about that now? Well, let's talk a little bit about my solar. I finally got my final piece of solar in and bought, I ordered a new battery in addition to what I already have, which gives me another 5 kilowatts, which brings me a total of about almost 19 kilowatts of storage. Sounds like a lot, don't it? But not really. But it's acceptable. Now, with 8,500 watts of solar panels, which are positioned on a north and south side of my roof, of the way my roof lays, that's the way I had set the panels up. So about any given time of the day, after 8:30 or 9, I can have, in most cases, 4,000 plus watts coming in. Now, of course, it gets more, like from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock, there's a whole lot more, but on average, I can have a minimum of 4,000. Now, what does that mean? That 4,000 watts coming in, it shortens the time needed to charge the batteries. You're looking at roughly 5 hours at that rate, which in my case, the way it works, yesterday I was seeing how long it would take to bring the batteries to full charge. Now, my system starts using solar roughly around 6 a.m., maybe a few minutes after, which is not a great deal, of solar at that time, but it's still using that much solar. And what's coming in, it puts it to use. Of course, it's not putting it into the batteries at that time, because it's still being pulled from the batteries, but it reduces how much is coming out. And as the morning progresses, that changes. Actually, it starts charging by 7 a.m. Not a great deal, but it's some. And that's what we're getting at. Starting at, say, it's 7 a.m., how long does it take from that point, since it's starting to charge the batteries, to get to fully charged? In most cases, most nights, I'm using, on the average, because the sun goes down around 5:30. That's like, somewhere around 5 to 5:20, no longer have enough solar coming in to offset my usage in the evening, PM. And so I guess we're looking at before a good 12 hours at this time of year before we have daylight again and get anything. So we're going to say 13 hours. And my average usage per hour, not counting when I'm using the incubators and brooder boxes all at one time. Right now, the brooder boxes, they're not heating because the chicks are old enough I don't need heat in there. And I don't want to heat them and stress them out. My incubators, they were on last night, but that will change as of today. We'll empty them and clean them up and get them prepared for next week. But anyway, what I'm getting at, I average at least 1,000 watts overnight per hour. So that's 13 kilowatts. That leaves me on the roughly 5 kilowatts left over on my batteries, which is fantastic if we have a cloudy morning or whatever, But say, when I do run the brooder box and incubators, you can add a couple more kilowatts at least, well, probably a little more, probably about 3 kilowatts. So I'll be looking at 15 kilowatts minimum when those are online. But anyway, we get back to yesterday. We're looking at roughly 13 kilowatts. How long did it take before I was at full charge? Now, this is a sunny day. It's not a cloudy day. So that's a plus. That gives you an example how quickly it can be done. Not only did I overcome my usage, which on the average is about 1 kilowatt. Sometimes a little more because when the pumps are running for the water to fill the tanks, it is a little more. But a lot, when they're not running, it's less than a kilowatt. So it averages out about a kilowatt. That's 1,000 watts, by the way. I rarely see 2,000 watts used at one moment. But yesterday, I did do one thing. I made me some pinto beans, and that's done in a crock pot. That's roughly 300 watts when it's on. So, in addition to the crock pot being on, how long did it take before I got it fully charged? Believe it or not, by noon, I was up. The batteries were floated out, and we're full charge by noon. I didn't get an exact time on it, so I would suspect between 11:30 and noon. There were a time around a little after 10 that I was getting right at 6,000 watts. That's cranking her out there, isn't it? 90 amps, I think, what I've seen, or maybe a little over, going into the batteries, which is split up in 3 different battery banks. So I would say that's 30 amps per battery bank. But anyway, I was at full charge by noon. I'm happy. Now, I'm curious what a cloudy day is going to do, which I say that'll be coming up for too long. We're getting close to that time of year for the rainy season to roll in. And this happens to be the dry season. And so we see what it is. Now, so I'm curious what my next electric bill will be, because, there's been quite a few mornings I've been on the grid from around 4:30 to basically about 7 o'clock before it switches back. So I'm curious what my electric bill will be. As you're well aware of, the one before was roughly $5, but this one I expect to be a little more because I use more grid than I did on that one. And I've not had to use any hot water, so we'll see. The only time we use our hot water, I use an on-demand hot water system, just in the shower only. And this time of year, it's not necessary. Even overnight, early in the morning, taking a shower, it's cool, but it's not demanding the hot water. I like a shower a little bit on the cool side, even when I'm using hot water. It's enough to take that abrupt cold chill off, but my shower is still cool. So much for that. So now I'm very happy that I do have that extra battery. I got it up and running. It only takes a few minutes to install it. And I was looking online because I expected some battery increases in price. But I was shocked how much of an increase. Wow. It's approximately 10,000 pesos more to order the same battery back. That's $150, $175, something like that. That's a sizable increase. I know there's a couple factors there that has probably forced the price increase. You know, transportation for one thing, demand another. I've noticed that there's a lot of solar being installed lately. You know, being energy independent is feels very fulfilling. So it's nice not to be dependent on a corporation or a grid. I can manage now totally off grid. That doesn't mean I'm going to get rid of my grid. I won't keep it. You never know. I might have a system failure or whatever. But it's nice to be knowing that I could manage. Now, if I was wealthy, I'd have backup for backups. But that's not going to happen. But what I'm getting at, it would help utility companies. They don't want to build more generation power. But I got to thinking, if a utility company was smart, any new home under construction, wouldn't it be a nice incentive if they'd help out with putting solar on those homes, those new homes? That would reduce the cost of electricity and the need for additional fossil fuels, gas and oil, coal. That would help without having to build those expensive generation plants. Maybe give a reduced rate on the electricity for the home that they install those panels. And that would be a thing to think about. Plus, how about all these parking places? Go in and do covered parking with solar panels at the malls and strip malls and one thing or another, and all these huge parking lots. It only makes sense to me, if they do that. That sure would help the demand for the grid, and reduce the cost of fuel, which they could stabilize the rates instead of these constant increases. Because sure, the increases are good. Yeah, mighty. If I was still using the grid, I would struggle to pay my utility. I do well here, but Grace and I are careful what we spend. If we had to pay the full utility, without solar, it would put us in a different situation. Not that we couldn't manage it, it would restrict us from doing a lot of things. Especially, here recently we've had to help a person out on several times now to keep them going hungry. And not having that ability to do that, it would be depressing. Really would. But anyway, guys, enough of my rattling and so forth. Hopefully everybody out there is doing great. And I've got a question for you at this end. I'm not going to do it on this video, but I'd like to have your opinion. I was going to post a generated code on my Gcash for, say, like 300 pesos. And that way, for those that would like to help out with maybe because we use those anytime we get extra funds. We use that to help students, help feed people, whatever. 300 pesos, by the way, is roughly what? $3, $4, $5 maybe, if that. I can generate a code for my Gcash, and I can include it on my videos. If you think it's something that would be you'd be interested in. If not, I don't have to post it. He's not that big a deal. But anyway, guys, I thank everybody out there. Appreciate everybody that watches. And I only wish the best for you. I only wish the best. And don't forget, when you're out and about, make somebody's day and smile. Because you might be surprised what a difference it might make in somebody's life just to get that smile. And also, live long and prosper.